want to talk about Will Smith. Will Smith had slapped Chris Rock, and at the I believe it was the Oscars in 2022 in March, in April of 2002. I mean 2022. And the reason I want to talk about that because I think that it was something that was I think it was devastating to watch. And you know, and because first of all, it was the Oscars where Chris Rock was hosting the show, and a lot of people came to support that and support the Oscars. I think Wanda Sykes was one of the hosts, and Will Smith was receiving an Oscar as well. Well, I think it was devastating to watch, because when you look at the African American male, when you look at him, I think that African American males has been there's always has been things attached to him that were negative, and I think that Chris Rock only proves that. I think one of the things that were attached to the African American male was the violence part. Many things were attached to the African American male when you look at how society views the African American male, and I think one of them was violence. And I think that Chris Rock showed that. I mean, Will Smith showed that. But I think Chris Rock was the other thing that we looked at when we saw that was that Chris Rock stood there. And what you seen was with both of the males is one was violent and one wasn't. And I think that when Will Smith smacked or slapped Chris Rock didn't respond. And I think that one of the reasons, or a couple of reasons, that he did not respond was that the future jobs with hosting the show would probably have been in jeopardy. The other thing was that his stand-up, Chris Rock's stand-up, probably would have been in jeopardy too, as far as those clubs. Because people are watching that, and and those clubs would have heard about the Chris Rock thing anyway, because it was public. So I think that would have been in jeopardy as well for Chris Rock. And I think and I think Chris Rock was probably shocked that Will Smith did that, but I think he was he sat there and did nothing, and I think in a way that was good for him, and in a way that was good. The other thing with that is that when it comes to Chris Rock, that he probably, people are going to be looking at him and saying, hey, why didn't you hit him back? You know, and stuff like that. And the negative people probably say, hey, why didn't you hit him back? And then there was also people who was positive that spoke to Chris about, you did the right thing by not responding. And like to that, you know, and I think he did the right thing by not responding at that moment. But I think that that with Chris Rock is that people, that video will go down in history, and he will be haunted by that. And especially the people, you know, that saw that, especially black men, that saw that, and why didn't you hit him back? You know, because, you know, because of the two black men going toe to toe. It was like that, like two black men face to face, man, and it's like black on black crime. That's what the fuck it was, you know, and shit like that, and Chris Rock would face that video for a long term, and the people who will tease him about that, you know, like that, he will be teased and picked on because he did nothing. You know, like that, and like that, you know, and there is always going to be that video there. I think he was, I still think that Chris did the right thing by not responding at that moment, because if Chris Rock would have responded to Will Smith, then white America would have been looking at that. Look at the two black males going toe to toe. Look at them acting like fools on stage at an award show. Just look at them, you know, and shit like that. And it would have been just as worse if Chris Rock had responded at that moment. You know, so I think he did the right thing by not responding to that. You know, and I don't know what Chris Rock would do in the future with that. I don't know. I don't know what he will say, what he would do. We doesn't know. We doesn't know. And the reason I say that is because, you know, because some people get you back later, you know, like that. You know, some people sit back and wait till later and get you back, you know, and stuff like that. So we don't know what will, is that the end of that. We doesn't know that. And I hope that Chris Rock doesn't do that. I hope that he go the legal way, you know, and stuff like that. You know, the court's way or whatever. You know, and take care of that. But he didn't want to press charges or whatever and stuff like that, because they was ready to lock Will Smith up. The Oscars, they was ready to lock his ass up right in there, and stuff like that, and all they needed was permission from Chris to do it, and Chris refused to do it. You know, for whatever reason, you know, that's his decision, you know, for whatever reason. But I think he will be mocked for that video. I think because, you know, people can tease people and shit like that, you know, especially males. They can tease people and shit like that. You know, because I had seen some of the remarks, you know, based on comedians and other people and stuff like that. Someone was saying that Chris Wright did the right thing, or it should have been handled after the Oscars or whatever, and this, that. And some people tease Chris Rock. And again, he's going to have to face that. You know, some people teased him by not doing nothing, you know, and shit like that. And you know, and shit like that, you know, and he's going to have to face that based on that video. You know, and shit like that. And I can imagine how he must have felt up there. Like, how he must have felt when when Will Smith did that. You know, I think part of it, he probably was shocked that he did it. But I think that I imagine that he felt like hope. In a way, I think that Will Smith knew that he was not going to do anything at that moment. Because if he's hosting the show, and you know, either he fight Will Smith or continue to host the show. And I think that Will Smith knew that he probably wasn't going to stop the show. So, and he would just continue with the show and not come after his ass, you know, and shit like that. And I imagine how Chris Rock must have felt. You know, I think he felt intimidated because it was done under the umbrella of the Oscars show. He waited until the Oscars, man, and known that the tape was rolling, known the camera was still rolling. Not that he embarrassed Chris Rock, he degraded him in front of millions, not just the people that was at the Oscars show, the one that was on watching at home. Because the camera was still rolling. The camera was still rolling. And he intimidated Chris Rock, embarrassed Chris Rock. And you can imagine how he must have felt up there, man. And millions are watching, especially the people in the audience, watching him and seeing what the fuck he's going to do. You know, and shit like that. I imagine he felt like, I imagine, and the pain and the emotion of and trying to keep a poker face after it happened. You know, like that. You know, like that. And trying to keep his cool. You know, because of what Smil did. And I don't think it was enough of what Chris Rock said was entitled him to do that. But again, let's look at that damn Will Smith. Will Smith, again, waited until, I mean, he did it under the umbrella of the Oscars. And I don't know their past or what have you. We don't know if Chris Rock and Will Smith had anything in the past. Any animosity or strife in the past. But I think that Will Smith waited till the opportunity. That was the opportunity for him to go after Chris. You know, if they did. But again, and he had to know that Chris Rock was not going to stop the show. And that, and even if he did, you know, it would have been two fools up there battling out in front of white America, black America, and anybody else that was watching. And risk a lot of shit because of that. And let me talk about that damn Will Smith. You know, and Will Smith, he did it under umbrella of the Oscars, you know, and shit like that, and it really made him look like a fucking fool. It really did. I mean, even though he got to slap in, but it made him feel like a fool. I mean, it made him feel like a fool later when people start going after his ass. But again, he looked like a fool up there and did that because he went right up on stage and did that shit. I mean, you know, he left his seat to go up there and do that. And you know, and did that right there and knew that the camera was rolling. And knew that he did it in front of everybody, you know, like that, and made him feel less than a man, you know, like that, made him feel like a chump, you know, like that, and intimidated him right in front of millions. And knowing that he wasn't going to do shit, and he wasn't going to stop the show. You know, shit like that. And it made, even though he got the slapping, it made Will Smith look like a damn fool. And again, you know, it really did. And then after he did this shit, then he gonna give that apology. You know, first he apologized when he got the award. They said he was, I didn't see that speech. I didn't really want to see that. But they said he apologized to the Academy, not to Chris Rock. Not to Chris Rock, but to the Academy. When he went up there and got that award, he apologized to the Academy for slapping Will Chris. He didn't apologize to Chris. You know, like that. You know, and then I think Will Smith was associated to the Academy. He resigned from that. See the effects of it. See what the effects, and we don't know what the future effects of it's going to be for Will Smith, because people will see that and say he's a violent ass, you know, and shit like that. You don't know the future of that for him to get more roles and shit like that, you know, like that. Because people are watching that and saying, oh, he's violent, huh? You know, and shit like that, and you know, and look at him differently, and he may not get roles, you know, and shit like that in the future. So you don't know the effect of that, because people watch shit like that, you know. And when people watch it, especially African American males, they watching their fucking behavior. And you know, and so you don't know the effects of that. And again, when you talk about the African American male, let's look at him. Because you know, the African American male already got stigmas attached to him already. The negative stigmas already attached to his ass already. And Will Smith didn't make it any better. You know, and when you look at OJ, when you look at Cosby, when you look at R. Kelly, and then when you look at Will Smith, they are worldwide African Americans that's in that business. That whatever they do, it will go worldwide. Like that. As opposed to Timothy in New York. But when they're stars, their behavior, whatever they do, their work, and the bad behavior will go worldwide. And people are watching that. And people are watching that. When it comes to those African, we ain't talking about regular people. Shit, regular people is just as worse. But when it's those stars, it goes worldwide, man. And see, they can't go by the excuse thing. Those African American males that's rich and famous, they can't go by that. I've been traumatized when I was a baby. I was left. My mother left me, homeless, and this, that, and the other. They can't go. They can't use that as fucking excuse for their fucking behavior. You know how their behavior they use in courts. Oh, he was traumatized. Oh, he was sexually abused. Oh, he was this. He was that. And shit like that for the defense attorney to use to give him a lighter fucking sentence. Well, what's Bill Cosby excuse? What's Will Smith excuse? What's OJ excuse? What's R. Kelly excuse when they got riches? Like that. They ain't living like people who are homeless and doesn't have a lot of money, this, that, and the other, and try to use that excuse. They could have went got counseling, this and that, with that money they got. So what's the excuse now? Because then when you look at regular African American males, there's, I imagine that there's some problems there when, when the father isn't home, and there's some homelessness or gangs or this, that, and the other, and all this. So African Americans could have some problems there. But what's R. Kelly and Cosby and OJ? What's their fucking excuse? They're rich and famous, and they have been for the last 20-something years. 20, 30 fucking years. So what's their excuse now? What they gonna blame it on now? And they can't push the blame. They cannot push the blame. And shit like that. They can't push the blame on something that made them do it. And it's not that star shit that made them do it. It's not that star shit that made him slap Chris Rock. It wasn't that star shit that Cosby drug and raped and sexually assaulted those women. If OJ killed his ex-wife, and it wasn't the star shit that made him do it. And R. Kelly having underage sex with other, I imagine that R. Kelly went through that as a child, but hey, he could have got some help. It doesn't mean he had the sexual assault. So what's the excuse? He been in the business 20 and 30 something years. So what's his excuse now? He been in the business 20, 30 years. You could have got some damn counseling. You had the money to do it. So what's your excuse now? And they can't blame it. Of course, R. Kelly probably went through that abuse. But why didn't you get some help? Instead of going out and if you suffer the abuse, why are you going to go out and abuse someone else? And the same thing with that damn Will Smith. If he saw his father, punch his mother in the face, he claims that he didn't want to do that to Jada whenever they got in an argument or whatever. He did not want to do that to Jada by the violence shit. Well, didn't he do the same thing to Chris Rock? The same thing his father did. Didn't he do the same thing? It just wasn't a woman. He did it to a man. you know, and shit like that. If that was something, because his claim was he couldn't do nothing when his father punched him in the face, punched his mother in the face. He couldn't do nothing. He felt powerless. So you can imagine what the mother must have went through, and you watching that. So why would you do that to Chris Rock then? Are we repeating the same behavior? You know, you're going to claim that you didn't want to hit Jada. Well, you hit Chris Rock. What's the difference? What's the difference? It's still violence. And let's look at that black fucking male. And all the stuff that goes with that. Because the black male, I done heard so many different things and saw so many different things when it came to the black male. But let's look at what just took the fuck place. The fucking violence. And there has always been the violence part. Because Cosby spoke about that as well. Because they doesn't want to become softer. They got an S on their chest and acting like they fucking Superman. And they doesn't want to be vulnerable to anyone. And so therefore they got an S on their chest and shit like that. And fight this, fight that, and this, that, and the other, and all this old bullshit. And they doesn't want to become vulnerable. Their answer is always they go through violence. And that's not the answer. You know, and Will Smith did that. If he's seen his mother being punched in the face, why would he do the same thing? Or he's seen his father do that. Why would he repeat the same thing his father done? You know, and stuff like that. If he imagined how he's seen his mother punched in the face, why would you do that to Chris Brown? If you knew that hurted your mother, why would you do that to Chris Rock? And the violence is always been there, attached to the African American male. Those stigmas been attached to the black male. And I'm not saying all of them are violent, because all of them are not violent. But that's not how people going to see that. Because people going to see that, you know, especially other races will look at that and think all of them are violent. I think looking at Chris Rock, they probably wouldn't say that, because they sat there and seen that Chris Rock did not respond to that, to what Will Smith did. So it was like, well, it's two black males going toe to toe, but one was violent and was not. So that was a good thing. That was a good thing that white America did see. You know, because again, you know, the stigmas that are attached that black males are violent. Well, not Chris Rock. At least not in front of them. He wasn't. So you can't really, you know, you can't really say. And in reality, not all black males are violent. Just some of them are. But I think looking at Chris Rock and Will Smith, they seen that Chris Rock did not respond. White America seen that he did not respond. And I looked at some of the comments and stuff like that where people, the stars responded to that. You know, saying that he was a pro, or it was a good thing he did not respond. Chris Rock. But the black male has always been, there always been stigmas attached to his behavior. And Cosby talked about it, that acting hard shit. That acting hard shit. They got an S on his chest. And doesn't want to become vulnerable, doesn't want to people to talk to him. No, you can't talk to me. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, and got an S on their chest and say, hey, I don't want to hear anything you got to say. And if you got anything more to say, let's go outside. You know, and shit like that. And you see that with some African American males, not all, but some. But some. And again, man, they only, I think what Will Smith did, well, only the stigmas that was attached to the black male anyway, the violence part of it, they didn't see that through Chris Rock, but they seen it through Will Smith, that violence. And it was right there for the whole world to see. And one thing that stars cannot do, I think stars are the ones that you can use as examples, you know, because they are worldwide people. And once they do something good, whether they work or do something bad in their personal life, whatever, you can look at them, look at their behavior, because it go worldwide, it go all over, and those stars cannot stop the media videos or what they say. They cannot stop at. Once it go worldwide, once those videos and all of that shit go worldwide based on whatever they do, it go worldwide, and the stars cannot stop at. They can't stop at. And stuff like that. And then they got to come out with these statements and this, that, and the other through their lawyers or through them and stuff like that, trying to explain, you know, the reason or they didn't act right and shit like that. But the damage already been done. You know, the damage already been done. You know, because people gonna always, again, that video, man, that thing gonna go all for years to come, man. And I think Chris Rock was gonna pay the price for that. You know, because people can be cruel. You know, some people would say, you know, he did the right thing. Other people are cruel, man. You stood by and let him just act. You ain't do nothing. What's wrong with you? You know, shit like that. You know, what's wrong with you? You know, people say, you know, I heard some people say, shit. Man, I don't care nothing about that Oscar show. They done went toe to toe with Will Smith. You know, and Will Smith, the other thing I looked at too was that he you know, cause someone had mentioned that because Chris Rock was about 150 pounds and shit like that, and he knew that you know, he picked on someone that knew and probably wasn't gonna do shit. But why didn't he hit, the other guy talked about, why didn't he go after that guy that say he slept with his wife? If the comments that Chris Rock made, which I don't think it was much of nothing. Everybody knew that Jada went bald based on red table talk and all that stuff. She made public anyway. So if it was about that, based on his wife, why did he sleep with that? Why did he go to that guy that came out and said he slept with with Jada? Why did he slap him when he came public and told the public that he slept with Jada? Why didn't he slap him? Why didn't Will Smith slap him? He slept with his wife. Why didn't he slap him? You know, if he gonna slap Chris for some shit that they don't even deserve to even be slapped, if it's based on that wife is his, why didn't he slap the guy that said he slept with his wife? Why didn't he slap him? The guy, I remember listening to the comment, hey, he slapped the wrong person, like the guy said on the comments. He slapped the wrong person. He shouldn't have slapped Chris Rock. He should have slapped the guy that slept with his wife. You know, and shit like that. Why didn't he slap the guy that slept with his wife? Why didn't he slap him? If the comment's going to be about what Chris Rock said about Jada Baldness, and he didn't even really say, he just said, I'll see, because you had did part 1, I'll see part 2. That's what Chris Rock had said. He wasn't derogatory or mean to Jada at all. But if it was about Jada, what Chris Rock said. But hey, why didn't Chris Rock slap the guy that slept with Jada? Why didn't he slap him? He went public and told the public that he slept with Jada. Why didn't Will Smith slip? If it's going to be about Jada, why didn't he slap the guy that went public, said he slept with Jada? Why didn't he slap him? You know, like that. Why didn't he slap him? You know, and shit like that. You know, I think it was much more than that, though. To be honest with you, I think it was much more than Will Smith is saying. And Chris Rock, you know, might know why Will Smith took the opportunity to do that, what he did. I don't know. But I think it was much more than that. He just felt the opportunity to do that right under the umbrella. It was an opportunity for him to get Chris back for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is. If there's something that went on in the past, he knew that was an opportunity to get Chris in front of millions. Like, he knew that was the opportunity to get Chris. Get Chris back for whatever reason. I think it was much more than that. I think that was an opportunity for him to get Chris for whatever reason. Anything in the past that they might have went through or whatever, but he probably had to thought he had to think about what the fuck he was getting ready to do before he went up there on that damn stage. But again, if anything in that past, I bet there's something in that fucking past that gave him the well, this is the opportunity to get his ass, you know, and shit like that, and slap him. You know, he probably really wanted to do that. You know, do something to Chris, but at this particular moment, it probably was, okay, this is the opportunity to do it now. You know, like that, and he did it. I don't know what that past is like between the two of them. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's something buried in that fucking past that made him do that. You know, and shit like that. But I think it'll come out. If there's anything there, it'll come out. You know why he really actually did it. You know, and shit like that. You had people teasing. I was listening to some of the comments and stuff, you know, and they were laughing at that, and I don't think that it was anything funny about that though. You know, I don't think that it was anything funny about that. You know, about making him feel as small as feeling like he want to go and crawl under the damn rock, you know, and shit like that. I don't think it's anything funny about what Will Smith did to he demeaned him right in front of millions, man. I don't think that it was anything funny about that. You know, and you know, I don't think it was anything funny about that, because you know what, if that had happened to those one that was laughing about that shit, you know, it wouldn't have been so damn funny. It wouldn't have been so damn funny, you know, and shit, if it had happened to them, they wouldn't be laughing. And shit like that. But I think white America and black America and whoever else was watching that, saying, oh my God, look at this shit here. Look at this shit here. You know, and shit. And I imagine Will Smith's mother probably would say, oh my fucking God, I know my son didn't just do this shit. You know, based on him seeing him punch his mother, the father punched his mother in the face. And what his mother must have felt at that moment. So I know she probably was like feeling what Chris was going to at that moment. So I know Will Smith's mother must have known what Chris Rock was feeling at that moment when Will Smith smacks him. But even though Will Smith's mother was punched, but just, I bet the feelings was just the same. You know, and shit like that. You know, and for him to, you know, do that, I imagine his mother probably wanted to crawl under a fucking rock, man, to see her son do that. Knowing that Will Smith seen his father hit his mother the same way. Like, he punched his mother in the face, by the way. So I imagine Will Smith's mother said, oh my God, I know my son just do that. After she knows what she went through and what Will Smith saw his father do to her. So I know she probably wanted to crawl under a fucking rock, man, when she saw that. And the black males, man, not only in society, regular society, but in Hollywood, you know, it's like, you know, when it comes to the star, and I say that God uses those stars for a reason, man. Even though they become famous, money, and all that stuff, man, their behavior is made worldwide, so the public can see. You know, like that. So anything that they do in that public, in public, when they step outside of that mansion of this, anything that they do will be made worldwide. And because the media always wants a story. And they gonna be right there to get it. and it go all over the world for the world to see their fucking behavior, especially those black men. Especially those black men. And it doesn't make the black male look good at all, man. And, you know, and it doesn't make them look good at all, man. It doesn't matter whether they're rich or not rich, man. Even when they, regular people, when they do, you know, stuff that isn't, it doesn't make the black male look good. It doesn't matter whether they're rich or not, man. It still doesn't make the black male look good either way. Either way, and I ain't saying all black males, because all black males doesn't get in trouble. But I think because some of them do, they make the rest of them look bad. They make the ones that aren't getting in trouble look bad as well, because people doesn't separate the black male from the ones that are not, doesn't get in trouble. Then the ones that do, they put them all together and say, oh, all of them are violent, all of them sleep with everybody, and shit like, you know, shit like, I mean, they blame all of them. Instead of some, they blame all. They put all black males together based on what some do. And Cosby, OJ, R. Kelly, Will Smith, and anybody else that's in that public eye didn't make the black male look good at all. Based on what they do, man. And you would say, I don't think it was just about Will Smith, because the public is not going to see it just about him. Just about his behavior, just about him. They're going to be looking at the black male, period. They're going to be looking at the black male, period. You know, because they're going to look at Cosby. You know, we just came off the thing with him. You know, I mean, he just got free from prison. But what about what all those women said? Look at R. Kelly. He get ready to go to prison. Next month, he get ready to go to prison. And OJ. You know, and stuff like that. And Will Smith, just because he ain't in prison, that don't mean his fucking behavior ain't catastrophic. Because it is. Because it was, at least to Chris Rock. I imagine that slap was a fucking sting. You know? What he did to Chris Rock was catastrophic. You know? What he did to Chris Rock was catastrophic. Because he demeaned him right in front of millions. And he had to sit there with a fucking poker face. You know, with all the feelings and emotions bottled up. You know, like that. And to do that to another black male was catastrophic, man. And he was thinking about himself. Will Smith. He was thinking about himself. He wasn't thinking about how it was going to go all over the fucking world and how people was going to look at that. He wasn't even thinking about that. All he was thinking about himself. You know, and then going to have to give those public statements and resign from the academy and all this whole bullshit. You know, I mean, he resigned from the Academy of the Arts, you know, the acting, whatever. He resigned from that because of his damn behavior. And they said that we are all right from you resigning. The Oscars. We are all right from you resigning. You know, and shit like that. Based on your damn behavior, we okay with you resigning. You know, like that. Because of what he did, man, it was catastrophic. What he did. He demeaned, especially, he demeaned Chris Rock, man. You know, in front of millions, man. Another black male. So I say black males don't give a shit about no fucking body. You know, they don't give a shit if another black male, white, black, who's Hispanic. They don't give a shit. They can, all they think about is themselves. Some of them anyway. Some of them that doesn't care, man. All they think about is themselves, man. They ain't think about how it's going to affect the rest of the black males based on their behavior. They just don't look at that. All they thinking about is themselves. Like, all they thinking about is themselves, and man, it's catastrophic. You know? And I imagine, you know, I imagine, man, you know, not only what Chris, it demeaned him, made him, I know he wanted to crawl under a fucking rock, man. You know, and you know, but I think that if they were both fought on the stage, it would have been over it would have been over. I don't think it would have been totally over, but people would looked at that, man, and more, it would have just made it worse for both of them if Chris Rock had responded. Good thing he did not. But again, well, at least at that point, he did not respond. You know, not at that point. But again, man, it would it have been just as worse. But I think I don't know, because people, Hollywood's so forgiving when it comes to money. They cast Will Smith and anything else somewhere down the road or whatever. But I think it won't change their mind about black men, though. Even if they book him in the movie, it wouldn't still change their mind about black men and their fucking behavior. It wouldn't change Hollywood's mind about black men and their behaviors, even though they book them in movies and everything else, man. That don't mean it changed their mind. They just more about making money, you know, and shit like that. But it wouldn't change their mind about black men, you know, like that. You know, and stuff like that. All those stigmas that are already attached to the black male. I don't think that would go away, because it's been there for years and shit like that. But I think that Cosby, OJ, and all of them they didn't make it any better for the African American male, because again, we already know what the African American male does. He's faced up with the police and does other things in public. But then when it comes to the star stuff, and you see that worldwide, they didn't make it any fucking better. Those fucking stars doesn't make it any fucking better. I ain't talking about all of them, but I'm saying some of those black men that's in fucking Hollywood didn't make it anything better when it comes to the black male. They didn't make it any better. Based on those stigmas. And you know, because you know, they think it's just about themselves, and which is fucking not. It's about all other black males too. Because that's how people going to see it. Some people going to see it. They're not going to separate. Well, Will Smith just did that. Man, not those stigmas they've been having attached to the black male already. Shit. They think all of them are like that. Based on those stigmas. You know, and shit like that. And Will Smith did not make it any fucking better with his damn behavior. You know? And they think it's all about them. But it's not. Because they're a worldwide figure, people gonna think all black males like that. And then they look at Cosby, then they look at OJ. Look at their behavior. Most of them probably are like that. You know, and shit like that. Like OJ, like R. Kelly, like like Will Smith, Cosby. You know, and shit like that. And that doesn't separate when it comes to the black male. Some people doesn't separate that. They think all of them are like that. Like all these black superstars. And then not only the ones that you see in public, you know. I mean, regular people. And stuff black male does. Some black males do. And it's not all black males. But that's not how the public is going to see it. They're going to think it's all of them are like that. We already know that some of them are like that. But some people may classify them all like that. All the black males are like that. You know, like that. And again, those stigmas attach, man, to the black male. And it doesn't even change it, man. Yeah, but again, man, Chris Rock, man, you know, Chris Rock, again, I don't know, like, what his, what he'll, I just hope that, that he'll find some peace and not throughout the years, because I think that you know, he's going to always be reminded of that. He's going to always be reminded of that. And people can be cruel, man. And people can be cruel. And people can be cruel about what happened to him. You know. And you know, people can be cruel. And I know Chris Rock knows that. And I remember I seen a video. He did a show, and they were saying stuff about Will Smith. I mean, his comedy show. After this happened, after that happened, his comedy show was saying all kinds of stuff about Will Smith. The people in the comedy show were saying all, you know, but he spoke about it a little bit, and then he just went on with his comedy show. But again, the people in the those fans, yeah. And you know, fans play a role, man. You know, and you know, and it depends on, you know, is they co-signing the behavior or they against the behavior, you know, and stuff like that. It depends on what type of fans you get. You know, some co-sign the behavior. Yeah, he should have did it. He talked about his wife, you know, and shit like that. It wasn't talking about where he should have hit him. But if that's the case, he should have hit the guy that slept with his fucking wife. Why didn't he slap him? You know, and shit like that. But again, you're gonna have people that co-sign, you know, that behavior, and then you're gonna have people who's against what Will Smith did. Then you're gonna have people that say, hey, Will Smith, you should have, you know, and stuff like that. It depends on what type of fans or people, you know, because, you know. But most of the people that I seen, I heard talk about that, they were like, they really didn't see the reason for that Chris Rock hit him. The reason enough to hit him, but then they said that if anything that Chris Rock, Will Smith wanted to say to him, he should have said it after the Oscars or during break or whenever Chris Rock got off the stage, whatever. He should have said it to Chris Rock after the show or whatever. But a lot of them felt that it was, you know, Chris' manhood was sort of like his tested, man. It was just catastrophic, man. I mean, like, you know, he demeaned him in front of millions, you know, and it make him feel like a chump. Made Chris Rock feel like a chump. Right there in front of millions. And he had to bite that pain pill. He had to swallow that pain pill and put on a poker face, man, in front of millions. Like, he put on a poker face, swallow the pain pill, and put on a poker face in front of millions. He demeaned him in front of millions. And you don't think that man, you know, if that isn't catastrophic, I don't know what is. And the thing about it, it was a black male doing it to another black male. Right in front of millions. Especially whites. Especially whites. Well, we know what the black male going toe to toe with each other, but to do it in front of white America, if that wasn't catastrophic, I don't know what was. Like that, I don't know what was, because here you got two black males like that, face to face, on camera, right in the building, eye to eye, and white America is looking like that. We know what black America is thinking, but when it came to white America, catastrophic, man, catastrophic. You know, and they looking at those two fucking males, two males. One didn't respond and one did and shit like that. And you can imagine what white Americans was thinking, man. You know, you can imagine, you know, like that. You can imagine. Man, I can say some shit, but I'm not going to say shit, you know. But I can imagine what White America was thinking behind closed fucking doors. When they went to fuck home and talked about that shit, I imagine the fucking words they were saying to behind closed fucking doors. Like that. Yeah. They might not have said it in public. Blacks would have said it in public. But not whites. They probably would have went home and talked about that shit behind closed doors. But again, it was catastrophic. Like, to see that. You know, and you don't know the effects of it down the road either. Because it could be effects from down the road. I mean, you see Will Smith already, you see the effects start to turn on his ass. He comes out with that statement, you know, after a couple days after he slaps him, and then he resigns. You know, and shit like that. You know, it started working on his ass already. You know, like that. Because it was catastrophic, man. And you know, but again, I hope Chris finds some peace in that, from that day and as well as the future. Because people can be mean and cruel when it comes to that damn video. You know, always throwing it up in his fucking face and shit like that. You know, and shit like that. And that's why I would have pressed charges against Will Smith. I don't give a shit about him being no damn star and all this over, because they were going to arrest his ass right in the fucking building. You want us to go get him? We'll go get him right now and arrest his ass. You know, and he didn't want shit. I would have pressed charges on his fucking ass. It would send a message to him and anybody else that want to go up on stage and shit like that. When there's a major show that's going on, knowing that everybody is there and the camera is right there with millions are watching on the camera. Let alone in the building. You know, and shit like that. Let alone, you can imagine how people was watching that in the building. And then the ones that was watching at home. You know, I don't know how Chris Rock, I don't have his ass arrested. Yeah. And he probably sitting there laughing with his fucking buddies and shit like that because he did that. He demeaned Chris Rock. You don't know. I'm telling you, the cruelty and shit like that, man. It doesn't know the long-term effect of that. He probably sitting there laughing with his buddies and shit and think that shit was cool and shit like that. Yeah, I smacked him. I wanted to get him back anyway. You know, and shit like, probably saying that shit. You know, to his fucking buddies and shit like that. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. You know. But two black men standing up there and white America, black America, Hispanic, and whoever else, Chinese, whatever, is watching. Watch that. And two black males going toe to toe. I mean, face to face You know, and shit like that. So now, what's gonna happen? You know, because ain't nobody anticipated what Will Smith was gonna do when he went up there. You know, face to face, two black males, face to face. And all they man, it's something, man. When you really think about it, man, it was catastrophic. Um, um, a catastrophic, um, yeah, um, because it just reminds me of how black men approach each other. You know, on the streets, in the streets. You know, it reminds me of that. I've seen, fights and shit like that. You know, and stuff like that. But it doesn't matter where it is, it's still catastrophic, man. Because, if it's like a power struggle, because that's what it was, and shit like that, it was about power, and, you know, and one put his hands on the other, and shit like that. And it reminds me of the bully that goes around bullying people because he felt like it. Like that. It reminds you of the bully. And, you know, but again, you really, but I don't know if it's, man, shit. I don't know. When you see that, you kind of look at, but I think it was something for black men to look at. I think black men should look at that and think about, like, how they treat each other. Think about that. Or anybody. They look at when they come, how they treat people, man. I think everybody should look at that and take a cue from Chris. Like, just because somebody attack you, doesn't mean you have to respond. But again, you don't know what the effects of that will be when it comes to Chris. Well, we know the effects when it came to Will. Well, some of it anyway. But again, you don't know how the effects when it comes to Chris. Well, you'll probably know about that damn video. About how people gonna tease his ass about it. In the future, from now on, in the future, they're gonna be teasing his ass about that damn video. So we know the effects of that. But but we don't know what that could do to him, emotionally, like. And what is he thinking, like, whatever, like that, and like what is he thinking mentally and emotionally about what happened, and you don't know the effects of that. in the long term way. You don't know the effects of that. You know, what Will Smith did to him. You know, you don't know the effects of that in the long term way. You know, people thinking probably he ain't saying nothing. Maybe he's scared, this, that, and the other, and all this other stuff. But you don't know the effects of that. You know, just imagine having to stand there with a fucking poker face and swallowing a pain pill, swallowing a pain pill with a poker face. And millions are watching you. You know, you can imagine. You can imagine that. And how it must have made him feel. Like. And we don't know the long-term effects of that. No. We don't know the long-term effects of that. We could probably look at it, he probably went to a show and this, that, and the other, and did his comedy thing and this, that, that. But again, we don't know the long-term effects of that. He probably put on a poker face in front of those damn fans and this, that, and the other. But I imagine that he was hurt about that. And we don't know the long-term effects of that. It's just like when somebody get raped, we don't know the long-term effects of that. We don't know the long-term effects of it. Because it does affect people in the future. When they rape, it does affect a person that get raped in the future. So imagine with him having to sit there and swallow a pain pill with a damn poker face when millions are watching you, and the feelings and emotions that go with that. And we don't know the long-term effects of that. We don't know the long-term effects of that. You know, like that. And you know, and that's the real deal of it, man. And Will Smith can go and go in his little world and act like shit is funny. And I don't see shit funny. I don't see shit funny. And people make like that, oh, Will Smith smacked the shit out of him and all this old bull crappy shit. It ain't that damn funny. It ain't that damn funny. Until you're up there and you be smacked in your face in front of millions and have to swallow that pain pill, and that feelings and emotions go down in the belly up and that belly, and have to put on a poker face in front of millions. And once he walked away from that stage, you can imagine when he got by himself. Like that. When he got by himself. feelings and emotions, and probably tears and everything. And we don't know the long-term effects of that. We doesn't. You know, he might go in front of the crowd and you know, and do his stand-up and shit like that. But behind closed doors, probably something different. And I imagine some people probably got with Chris. Some positive people, you know. Maybe even some negative ones. But again, probably got with him. I hope he get with some people, man. Yeah. I hope that he did. So that he could turn to anybody that will listen to him if he needed. You know, because I think he's gonna need it. I think he's gonna need it. Again, when it's a black male, man, I think you know, it's something, man. You know, especially when you've been chumped by another black male, and it was like, and it wasn't like in front of, you know, the friends at home. It was in front of millions, and everywhere he go, aside from those couple of friends that he do have, when he got to go out in public, man. And those friends in Hollywood, those people in Hollywood. Yeah, and gotta face them, look at people, and people are looking at him. You know, like that. You don't know, man. I imagine again because Chris Rock is a man, a man. You know. You know, and I imagine because I heard someone say that would affect my manhood, and I imagine that it did affect Chris' manhood. I imagine that it did affect his manhood. Yeah. Some people don't care, man. They don't give a shit what they do to you. They don't care. Some people just don't fucking care, man. Um, they'll do any fucking thing to you, you know, and they just don't even care, man. And shit like that. And in reality, they doesn't care because they doesn't care about themselves, so they definitely ain't gonna care about you. Because they doesn't care about themselves, they definitely isn't gonna care about you either. Like that. If they do anything to anybody, imagine what they do to themselves. You know, uh, like that. Cause some people don't care, man. They don't care. They don't give a shit what they do to you, and that's sad, man. It's sad that it comes to that. It really is. And, you know, because it lets you know what they think about themselves. If they do that to you, if they doesn't respect themselves, they're not gonna respect themselves either. If they doesn't respect you, they're not gonna respect themselves either. You know, like that. And they don't give a shit what they do to you or how they make you feel and this, that, and the other. They don't give a shit about that. And that's a shame that it comes to that. And it is like that. And some people do care. But there's a lot of people that don't give a shit about how they make you feel or what they do to you. They doesn't care about that. And it's a shame that it's like that. But what I think it comes back to is that if they doesn't give a shit about you, they doesn't care about themselves either. If they mistreat you, they doesn't care about themselves either. You know, like that. They doesn't really care about you. They doesn't really care about themselves either. They say if you respect others, if you respect yourself, you should respect others. You know, like that. If you respect yourself, then you'll respect others. You know, if you doesn't have that, you're not gonna give it to anybody else either. If you doesn't have respect for yourself, you're not going to give it to anybody else either. And that's the real deal of it. Yeah. But again, I hope at some point that Chris get the help he needs with some positive people around him, and that he can go to anybody. I mean, go to some people to talk to if he need that. And as far as Will Smith, I hope he changed the way he look at others, including that wife of his. I think he need to look at. I think he should look at others, not just other than himself. You know, respect others other than himself. And you know, again, if you respect yourself, you'll respect others, man. And you'll give it back. You'll give it to others. If you don't respect yourself, you're not going to give it to others either. You know, you know, like that. You're not. And I hope that Will Smith realized what the fuck he did. And that he changed from that. And stuff like that. You can't expect it to live like that and then expect people to look at you different. Will Smith can't expect to go around doing that type of behavior and expect people to look at him different. I mean, differently than that. If he going around smacking people and violence and shit like that, how are people going to look at you differently if you're doing that type of behavior? How do you expect people to look at you differently? Like, you got to change that, man. I don't know if he will. That's on him. But again, I hope Chris get that. Has some positive people around him, man. And that he doesn't resort to any violence in the future. Chris. I'm talking about Chris. I don't know if he'll resort to that in the future. I don't know. I hope he doesn't, though. If he needs to press charges on Will Smith, go ahead and do that. But as far as doing other type violence and just that and the other and all this sort of stuff, it ain't even worth that. Um, Not even worth it. Not even worth it. I'm out.